How you going, people? Another video on somebody brought up a pretty good point, which I thought was probably appropriate for a lot of people. And a lot of people aren't going to like the answer, but I'll say it anyway. A lot of my answers or opinions or explanations of things don't meet with friendly ears. But it is what it is. You can take it or leave it. At least it's another side. At least it gives you more information to make an educated decision versus just brain dumping my liberal left idiocy in your mind, and you have no common sense. You can't think. All you got to do is repeat, blame George Bush. It's George Bush's fault. Conservatives are bad. And, and that's the only thing you know, so that's all you say, and that's what you think will fix all the problems because you're an idiot. I know, I had to get my liberal assault in there somehow. All right, so, I forgot my damn topic. Oh yeah, you get pulled over. All right, so a guy says, what happens? A guy says he got stopped for not having a front plate, but he had a front plate. So it brought up an interesting topic. So just because a cop stops you for, let's say, non-probable cause, wrong probable cause, he makes a mistake or he's wrong. When he stops you, does that detention automatically become unlawful? Like most legal questions, it depends. It can be unlawful. If the cop stops you and immediately recognizes that it's not, and he says, hey, I'm sorry, and he terminates it, probably no harm, no foul. You're not going to be able to go sue for unlawful detention. You're not going to be able to sue the guy for police harassment. You're not going to be able to try to get money. It's probably, if the guy just says, hey man, you don't have a front plate, and I've done this before. I've stopped somebody because the friggin' brake light's out, and they go, it works. And I go, try it again. They have their girlfriend step on the pedal, and I bring it back out to show them not working. The damn thing worked. And I went, dude, I'm serious. The damn thing, it didn't work when I pulled you over, but whatever. I said, get out of here, man. I'll talk to you later. Sorry. And it was cool. And then if I still thought the guy was a piece of shit, I would be like, you know what? It didn't work. I need to see a driver's license. He ended up being suspended. He ended up being on probation. He was a member on a gang. He had a gang file. He had tattoos, whatever. And then I would start my investigation from there, but would I lose everything because my stop on the brake light was wrong? I guess, and here's where people are going to be like, you're just taking up for the cops. I'm not. I'm just telling you how the court's going to rule. And I can only go on how the courts has kind of set precedents and what they've ruled on in the past and what lawyers are going to be able to point to as a reasonable ruling. I can't say what they're going to do because you never know what the hell they're going to do. I mean, the Supreme Court freaking rules against me every time they freaking rule, it seems like. So, I mean, they don't worry about the Constitution. They are the most anti-constitutional body that we have. I can't believe them pushing their little left agenda on the highest court in the land, and there's no checks and balances. There is, but Congress is too weak to do it. But anyway, so the courts have ruled the intent of the officer is irrelevant. People don't want to hear that, I know. If I pull you over for no license plate, and you're black, and I don't like blacks, and I'm pulling you over in the back of my mind just because you're black, it doesn't matter because you don't have a license plate, there's a violation. Now obviously nobody's going to say that. If they did, they would challenge it, say it was racism, the liberal left would have a freaking cow, and because they believe that shit anyway, the cops run around. Like I got better things to do than run around and go, oh, let me go find a black person, man, because that's all my job is, because I don't want to get a bad guy off the street, I don't want to catch, I just want to do a bunch of paper because the guy's black. Really? I mean, you freaking idiots that believe that are probably the most racist people around, because nobody thinks like that, that's normal. And I don't know any cops that think like that. And if they did, they would say it, but cops say stupid shit and we always run our mouth and get in trouble and we're joking around. So I would know it, but I'm telling you, I don't know any cops that think, man, today I'm going to give me a black man! Woohoo! It just don't freaking happen. So, the courts have ruled the reasonableness in the officer's mind has some value, but it does not negate the stop. If you're in violation, it doesn't matter what my intent is. The cop that stopped me and wrote me a ticket for no front plate. When I talk to a supervisor, the supervisor goes, he gets a lot of dope, and he's out there trying to look for dope, and he just may be. And I go, dude, I got no problem with him going after dopers with no front plate, but I'm not a freaking doper, and I don't even look like a doper. And it's not, shit, if I was a doper, if I was cranking, I wouldn't have this. This is a clue that you're not using crank, okay? Because if you're using crank, you're usually pretty damn skinny. You don't see too many fat crankers. But you can, but I'm just saying, the norm Most crankers are skinny. So, potheads tend to be a little overweight because they get the munchies, they eat a lot. But that's another tip. Anyway, if I stop you for a legitimate violation, it makes no difference why. That cop stopped me for no front plate because he was looking for dope. His intention does not matter. I didn't have a front plate, the stop was legitimate. Now, when there's an error in the cop's stop, like you don't have a front plate, he gets up there and I do have a front plate, now his intent would come into play. Because he exerted authority and he made the detention, and that would fall kind of under the fruits of the poisonous tree. And the fruits of the poisonous tree doctrine you'll hear a lot is if you plant a bad seed and the tree produces fruit, all the fruit is poisonous and no good. So, fruits of the poisonous tree. The tree becomes poisonous because of the bad seed, therefore none of the fruit that it produces is any good. So if I stop you illegally and I find dope, dead bodies, conspiracy, and, Hillary Clinton's emails, if I find all that shit, but the stop was bad, all that fruit of my stop is going to be suppressed or thrown out because it becomes fruits of the poisonous tree. My stop was the poison seed because I didn't do it right. Therefore, any fruits that my stop produces are no good. So, if a cop stopped me for no front plate and I had a front plate, then did a search, got consent, saw something in my car, ended up arresting me because I had, Hillary Clinton's emails in the back, whatever. And he ends up arresting me because I got classified material. That fine would be challenged because the stop was not justified. Then it would go back to, did the officer reasonably believe when he made the stop that he didn't have a front plate? Or did the officer just make up that he didn't have a front plate to stop him? And again, proving either one is kind of tough. Proving a negative is tough. He can't really prove that what his intention was. I can't prove what his intention was. The courts would probably rule that it's no good and they're going to throw it out. Unless it was something important. I guarantee you, if I stop some turban head, peaceful Muslim, if I stop some peaceful Muslim driving around and I stop him because he has a peaceful Muslim symbol of a rag on his head, and I find terrorist bombs and bombers in the back, that stop should be suppressed and be gone. But it's not going to be. Because they're going to pull out some exception to the rule, to the government wanting who they want, how bad they want them, and Hillary Clinton can do shit and they don't charge her, but somebody else does it and they do. The government's going to play that shit and go, you know what? In the matter of national security, in the matter of public safety, we're going to excuse the bad stop because he had a turban, and we're going to allow the suicide vest in the car to be used. Now, I know that's a situation that would never happen. I'm trying to get YouTube not to censor me. And I just use that as a poor example because I know Muslims is a religion of peace and they never do that. And it's just the crazy right-wing conspiracy Second Amendment guys that want to spread that rumor. So, that's a bad example. I should use, I'll say this. If I stop some dude with a 3%er hat and 3%er on his car and I support the Constitution only because I'm a left-wing cracknut and I don't like those Second Amendment people, and I walk up to his car and see he has a gun and I arrest him, that gun is not getting suppressed. Why? Because the left agenda won't give a shit because it promotes their agenda and they don't care. That's the problem with the law when you get left and right politics and you have a government that controls the media, the papers, the information. It controls the government. It controls who they prosecute. It controls the Supreme Court on how they rule whether it's unconstitutional. Obamacare is unconstitutional, but they ruled it constitutional because they liked him and they were the left and they had the numbers. So, I mean, that's the problem with electing, people who are more tied to their political belief, more tied to their religion. Do you think a Muslim's going to really find a Muslim guilty? I mean, if I was a prosecutor and I was prosecuting a Muslim, which we wouldn't do because that would be racist and we wouldn't want to do that. But just for some reason, if we had to prosecute a Muslim and there was a Muslim on the jury, do you really think a Muslim's going to vote against a Muslim? I don't. I think their Quran would overvamp it. Now maybe some Muslim will come here and go, you're full of shit, I'd vote against a Muslim. Well, that's great. I don't see you guys protesting or saying they're bad or turning them in or reporting mosques for preaching hate. I don't see any of that shit. But now all of a sudden somebody will come here and go, I'd convict them of the Muslim religion doesn't condone because we're peaceful. All right, whatever. All right, so I got this video banned, and so I forgot what the hell. Oh yeah, fruits of the poisonous tree. If you stop, again, everything is subjective, and the law, it's a flowing, moving thing. That's why when people want to start saying, it's the law, you can't do it, and you're wrong, you're not. And look, all that's bullshit. I mean, I used to believe that shit. I used to teach that. I used to think it was the truth, but it isn't. You got politics, you got appointed DAs, you got crooked U.S. attorneys, you got politicians who own these guys who owe them favors, who, you know, you got Hillary Clinton who knows the FBI director, who the FBI director ain't got no, I mean, our system is broke, it's broke bad, nobody wants to see it, and they ain't gonna fix itself. So what's the answer? Well, stay tuned to Revolution series. All right, we'll end that there.